Welcome to Chargeheads UK. We're your #1 resource for EV conversions and modified EVs. And talking of modified EVs, we're here at Thorney Motorsport, the authorised dealer of Unplugged Performance parts. And if you don't know about Unplugged Performance parts, well, you need to know if you've got a Tesla, whether it's an S, an X, or a 3, or even a Y, because they've got parts for that as well coming through. So we're here today to talk to John Thorney of Thorney Motorsport and to delve in a bit deeper about Unplugged Performance parts and to find out what you can do to your Tesla. I think I can hear him now. Did I not mention he tunes McLarens for a living? Wow. John, I believe.
Yes, how you doing?
Nice to meet you. This is a beautiful...
Yep, McLaren 720S Spider, one of our cars, so it's quite fun.
Yeah,
bit different.
Yeah, do you take this around the track at Silverstone?
It's mainly a road car for us. We have another McLaren as a track day car, but yes, it does get tracked as well, so it's a bit of both, a bit of R&D work for it really.
Well, we're not Petrolheads UK, so we better go over to the electric cars over here, John, if that's all right.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, come on over. So, yeah, tell me about these wonderful Teslas. I mean, I see the X you've got here. What modifications have you done to this?
Well, essentially, yeah, we've got a Model X Performance, which is fitted with all of the Unplugged upgrades, us being Unplugged UK, so hence we fitted every part we can get for Unplugged, which in this particular car is obviously lower control arms, so they're billet control arms to allow a small camera in the car. It's lowered with lower suspension kit. It runs a carbon fibre rear wing, and it runs brake upgrades in terms of pads and hoses as well, and better fluid to improve the braking for it, with a slightly different wider offset wheel to bring the track out a bit lower. So basically it's lower, wider with some aerodynamic gains as well, plus some braking improvements. And
so how's the suspension? Is it still fairly comfortable, quite compliant, or is it?
It doesn't really change. Obviously the Model X all runs on air suspension. So we're not changing the programming side in terms of how the suspension works. But in terms of all we're doing is checking the height differences. So you can still run at full height. You can still run at full low. It just means that the running on a full low is now a bit lower. And running full height is a bit lower, and obviously you can then change suspension settings. The Model X, people forget, on the Performance especially, you can program the suspension quite a lot. In terms of changing how the suspension handles. All we're doing is bring it a lower level, and it's full height level, it's still a great big Land Rover type version behind it. And its lowered version, it means that the handling is just much more positive. And also the wider track we've got with the wider wheels offset as well, means your lateral grip is much more fun, and it's a much more fun car to drive.
What sort of width are the wheels and size-wise?
They're basically ½ inch wider, and in terms of the offset is also ½ inch as well. So even though the wheel is the same width, the actual offset is wider, so it widens out the stance. Okay. And I'm guessing you haven't put this on the track at all, but it's more of a kind of a fast road. No, we've tracked this. We track all of our cars. Track all of our cars.
Hold on tight.
We didn't video this one. We videoed the tracking of the Model 3, which is the bigger car for performance.
Yeah, and please check out John's videos around the track and the Tesla. It was quite an exciting video, I must admit, when I watched it.
It was a short video, it's a problem. The Model X was great fun, fantastic, just didn't last for long in terms of battery. Same issues with the Model 3, but it's great fun to do it. But yes, I wouldn't describe it as a track day car.
No. It's not like my the Chargehead support vehicle, although it does have adjustable suspension on.
Well, I can say it's not all bad.
Oh, come on.
Are you trying to hurt my feelings?
But this is the main car for me personally, because I'm a big fan of the Model 3, and I would love to have one very, very soon when I can convince the wife to change her Audi. But I mean, I know you've done a few bits to the car. You've got the front splitter that's been wrapped, is that correct?
Well, basically we've painted the front splitters. It's a standard black car. We put some livery on it, but this is the unplugged front splitter on the front. which contrary to prevent doesn't actually lower the car at all. If people are saying, is it too low? It doesn't actually lower the car at all.
Okay.
It just breaks up the airflow around the front to allow the airflow around it, which matches nicely with the unplugged rear wing as well.
The wing is, I must admit, in pictures, it doesn't look as good as in the flesh. You know, when you see the weave on that, it's
actually
tasty.
very. We're being a race team. We've worked with carbon fibre for 20 years. The quality of the carbon fibre work that comes out of Unplugged is second to none. It really is very good.
That's really
good.
I mean,
we can line it up alongside McLaren carbon fibre, and it's not that dissimilar.
Yeah.
Which, bear in mind, a front splitter on a 720 in carbon fibre from McLaren is near enough £9,000.
Wow.
And the course is pretty similar. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
But the main thing we went with Unplugged on the aerodynamic side is it's the only aftermarket supplier that we spoke to where they did actually get CFD analysis on their aerodynamic stuff. No one else does.
Right, okay.
And obviously we're a race team, we understand CFD very well, which is flow dynamics basically. It's a version of a electronic version of a wind tunnel. So they did actually go through and do the testing. I even took their raw data and gave it to some colleagues of mine at some F1 teams to run it through their systems, and they confirmed the numbers. So it's the only one we found where the aerodynamic work they did was aerodynamic.
Well, it's great. It's great to hear that you're checking up on these things, because I know that, you know, especially from your experience with McLaren, you know, high end from Centre Motorsport. So it's great that you're checking that Unplugged are exactly what they say on the tin.
We literally bought kits from every single Tesla supplier. Normally, as a business, we would develop our own parts in-house. That's what we've done for all of our equipment, from BMWs, Vauxhalls, and McLarens. But with the Tesla market being so much more advanced than the UK we are now, we decided rather than try and reinvent the wheel, we would redefine the wheel a little bit more. So we bought the upgrade kits from every Tesla manufacturer you can think of, from mounted performance to Unplugged to IBAC to.
I did see the springs. Yeah, you looked at all
the
different options.
We bought one of every single thing, and then we went back to a lot of them, spoke to them what their plans were, and Unplugged were the only company that we spoke to where not only were they receptive to our ideas, and receptive to us saying to them, "Are you sure?" And you say to someone, "Yeah, are you sure?" That some responses, "Well, you know, I know better than you do." Unplugged weren't like that. They sat back and said, well, hang on a minute, you understand this, how can you explain what you're trying to do? And they are far more in-depth in terms of what they did. For example, on the Mulberry Performance, Unplugged have 7 different spring types. That's 7 different products. Now, it's more hard work for us being a distributor of theirs with 7 different products. And we only bring in the ones we think are more suitable to the UK market. Yeah. Because obviously Unplugged developed their stuff on American roads. The last you drove an American road, it's quite different to UK roads. Yeah, hopefully they do some nice, you know, pothole version springs. We really picked the springs. So on this particular car, we ran all 7 sets of springs on this car, one by one, back to back on some days, to test each one which worked. Right. We spent probably $8,000 or $9,000 worth of kit before we even approached them. Oh, wow. So, you know, we were that convinced by the product. We said, okay, now we will work with you. And they've been quite receptive to that. We're not just selling their kit. For example, people ring up and say, will you sell me a set of someone else's springs? No. Now, we'll fit them for you if you want us to, but we won't sell you them. You can buy them somewhere else if you want to, because we won't sell them because we don't think they're the best ones. The ones that Unplugged make that we sell, they're the best ones. And you can say that in confidence because you've tried them all. So exactly, yeah. I've got second-hand springs up there that would get ditched. So. All right, put them on the Chargeheads website, special deal. So you got the upgraded wheels on here as well? Yeah, these are our wheels that we've made. We haven't gone with the Unplugged wheels, not simply because they're not really good. They are extremely good, but they're very expensive. Once you take into account the American shipping and everything else there, it's £7,000 or £8,000 set of wheels. Now, whilst I might think it's worth that, I don't think we're going to sell very many sets. No. So at the end of the day, it's the business in the day. Yep. And so we will bring in the bits we think we can commercially take advantage of. I'd love to run every car we have on Unplugged wheels. It just simply financially is not there. The market is still very small. CO2 emissions as well. Think of all those, you know, shipping containers, bringing it over to the UK. Very true. I'm sure that was in your mind, John. Well, it was on the handling side. These wheels are much lighter. They're only 7 kilos a wheel. Even better. You're saving nearly 5 kilos a wheel on these wheels. Perfect. Bearing in mind rotational weight counts 2.5 times overall. Yeah. It won't make a dramatic difference in terms of battery usage, but it all helps. Yeah, no, definitely. And what other bits? Obviously, you've dechroned the car, you've got the decals like you mentioned already. You've mentioned after your experience on the track, which again, check on YouTube, you found that the brake pads were not up to much after a few corners. It's interesting. The one thing we noticed about Tesla, I keep saying McLaren, Tesla, is that they've created a very good drivetrain and battery management system and software package.
Yeah.
They are not as good in terms of the mechanical things that you want to achieve. So, example, the model for all their cars come up with DOT4 brake fluid. Now, DOT4 is the cheapest, nastiest brake fluid known to man.
Yeah, it's come on a little bit since then, hasn't it?
Yeah,
So,
even a basic DOT 5.1 won't cost any real money in comparison, but it's completely different in terms of product. But yes, in terms of brakes, we changed the pads, we changed the hoses, and we changed the fluid.
Yep.
You can go to brake kits, something else there, but frankly, it's not required for a road car or even for fairly aggressive track work.
No.
So yes, we changed the handling in terms of the change of brake in terms of brakes.
Yeah.
One of the biggest differences we found was combined with the springs was the anti-roll bars.
Yes,
The
I have
sway
heard
bars.
this, that it makes a hell of a difference.
It's if there's one thing, if someone says to me, I've got one upgrade to do, nothing else in the car,
Yeah.
anti-roll bars.
I mean, are they that thin standard then?
They're
or?
very thin. I mean, we've done
Right.
some pictures on the website. It's almost like a noodle in comparison to the upgraded one.
Yeah.
And that's, again, as part of our testing, we just put the car and just put roll bars on. Didn't change the springs at all. And we actually gave it to a customer who had their own Model 3 Performance, and he couldn't believe there weren't springs on the car. He was like, I don't believe this. I can't.
Oh, wow.
Our little local roundabout down the road, which probably drove round.
Yeah.
That's our little, how fast can we take it before we roll the car type thing. And it transformed it. And it doesn't affect the ride at all. So if the one thing you do, only one thing is anti-roll bars, or sway bars, as Americans call them.
Absolutely.
And also, Unplugged have unprecedented amount of access to Tesla.
Yes.
I mean, they're now official Tesla in terms of the servicing side.
Yes, they're just down the road from the factory, aren't they?
They are. I mean, they've been 9 years, 8 years into it now. They have more data and information I could possibly try and achieve from the UK arm of Tesla.
No, perfect. Well, it's getting a bit cold out here and a bit dark, so shall we go inside and have a look, see a few more of your parts?
Cool, no problem.
Perfect. So I'm guessing you've had quite a interested bunch of people in Model Y parts recently. Do you supply a lot of parts for that model?
Well, we've not even seen the Model Y here yet, obviously.
No,
but yes, I was, when we did our first order with Unplugged, it was primarily Model 3, some Model S and some Model X.
Okay.
The Model Y was always on the horizon, but at the time we first started our Unplugged relationship, so 12 months ago, the Model Y was still being spoken about in terms of lead times coming into the UK. There's now moved on, and yes, I've been somewhat surprised. I mean, we've put an order in for all the bits we need. We've not even seen a car yet. I think I've got more orders for lowering kits and bits for the Model Y than we had for the Model 3, but it does take some time. Obviously, people now know that Unplugged UK exists. Yeah. When we first started, we deliberately made it a slow process.
But what's the future in terms of parts for Unplugged and Thorney Motorsport? Have you got anything in the near future that you're thinking about getting into or focusing on at all?
Well, we'd love to have had the truck overhead. Obviously, that's not going to happen officially.
Yes, of course, the truck.
Well, we were desperately keen on that, as we're Unplugged, and obviously they have a big market for them out there. But obviously, it won't officially come to the UK, if at all, because of obviously safety regulations we can't adhere to here. The Roadster, great, wonderful, but again on Tesla time, that could be maybe before I'm dead, not sure. And then the new smaller model, Model 2, they're going to call it. We think that will probably be the biggest market for them. But again, no one's even seen any renders for it. At the moment, we're concentrating very much on trying to serve the market we have, which is obviously 3, Y when it comes through. And interesting enough, the X. The X has been quite a good market. A lot of people, it's a very good car. We're the first to sort of say that. So I think overall, as the product increases, it's great. But yes, COVID has caused issues, and the global supply chain is pretty much knackered for most people at the moment. Yes. I don't think that's going to improve for at least 6 to 8 months. Therefore, we're saying to people, look, we're ordering it in. When it comes in, we can get it, but we can't control when it comes in, and frankly, no one else. So it's suck it and live with it at the moment, I'm afraid. That seems to be the answer.
Yeah, no, for sure. But no, thank you for showing us your parts and some very interesting things in here. And when I get my Tesla Model 3, I'm sure there'll be a few things on my Christmas list from here. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, it's not a bad place to go shopping, is it?
Although it'd be Christmas probably 2023, I think at this stage. But no, thanks for showing us, John.
That's all right.
So, John, when did the emblem come from for Thorney Motorsport?
Well, we've been going for 22 odd years now. For the first sort of 7 or 8 years, we had thorns, as in rose thorns, as our main livery.
Ah, right.
The problem with that is that when you put them on a car, the little sharp edges all peel up when you clean them
I wasn't
off.
sure if it was like arrowheads or something like that. But
it's actually, I looked it up. My nickname's been Thorny since I was 7 years old. So we looked up, and there's an animal in Australia called a thorny devil.
Okay.
And it's a little lizard that lives in the harshest environments.
Right.
And its reputation is that it lives in a harsh environment, it's tough as nails, and it tries to look bigger than it is. And I kind of figured that summed us up. So this is a cartoonized version of the face of a thorny devil lizard.
I mean, I love the emblem, and you know, the wrap on this is absolutely stunning, and this is one of your pure, well, race cars, as you say, you know,
this
road
is
legal race
This is a
cars.
McLaren 570 GT4R, which is our track day version of the 570 with, and it has more power, better suspension, brakes, carbon fibre bodywork, and the wrap was done by a company in Poole called Wrap Sanctuary, and we went to a dozen different wrap companies, and they wouldn't do a printed fade wrap on a car.
Well,
it took a long time to get it right.
I'm glad you have got it right, because it looks stunning. But thank you very much for your time today, John.
Appreciate it. Thank you for coming over.
No, it really was very amazing just to see not only the parts, your cars, your setup here. It's great, and hopefully we'll meet again sometime soon to have a drive of some of your cars.
Well, brilliant. Look, thank you very much.
Good man. Thank you. So that's it for today. We have had a great time here at Thorney Motorsport, and we really thank John for showing us all these amazing unplugged performance parts. Now, if you want to talk a little bit more about EV conversions or modified EVs that we've been seeing today, please jump on the forum. You can ask plenty of questions on there. I'll try and answer them if I can, and there's other people into these sort of things as well that would be happy to, I'm sure, to get involved. Not only that, you've got the Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. I do try and go on those and just update people as well, so get involved on the socials as well. I look forward to seeing you all next time. Thank you for watching.